Thank you. Your resume, after being in the porn industry, did you find it hard to find a 9-to-5 job? I imagine you would probably leave some of that out, though, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't, because I'm not the kind of person that's ever really hidden anything. In my area, everybody knew what I did anyway. But I didn't have to find a 9-to-5 job. Actually, I started another business where I do internet marketing for auto dealers. And whilst most people don't find the content nearly as interesting, the same concepts do apply. So, but you know what? When I'm honest with people and I tell them what I do, people are pretty. They like the comeback story basically, and they like someone that's just seen the error of their ways and is trying to do something to change it. And when I speak, I don't really hide anything. I'll tell you whatever you ask.
Tell us more about human trafficking and any human rights violations that are violated in porn from your experience.
Okay. A lot of people, and I never did this because one of my friends did, and it scared the crap out of me, so I didn't want to try it. But he went to the Czech Republic because there's amazing-looking girls there. And so he gets there, and he has a gun put to his head and says, in order for you to shoot her, you've also got to shoot her. Now, if they're going to put the gun to the head of the producer, do you think that the model's not being coerced? And even here in the States where people are making their own choice. Do you think after hearing my story, the pattern that I used wasn't human trafficking, where I give you this not necessarily lying portrayal, but not giving you the full truth, where you know that your life's going to be ruined? You know, I don't point out to you that, you're going for a career, a degree in what? Okay, well, most of the companies in that industry are going to make you sign a morality clause someday, and this is going to invalidate that. So, I mean, it's human trafficking no matter what we label it. But and we're fooling ourselves if we think it doesn't go on in our countries. In mine, Seattle is a hotbed for human trafficking.
Yeah. So why has the porn industry changed so much?
Because men are horny, and they're going to tell women whatever they can to get your clothes off, and they're going to glamorize it in pop culture, in every TV show, and in every possible media outlet, and all of the stars are going to be told that their video is not going to play unless they act like sluts. And so when that happens, then there's more and more people who are willing to perform in it because it becomes their norm. I think that also happens is, like, people do get jaded. What we have now is never enough. It keeps progressing harder and harder and harder. And why is men's face hidden? Because nobody's really paying to see the man. They really don't care.
Yeah, sure, man. I knew that would be provocative. I totally see that pornography emasculates men, and here's my reasoning. And that's that as men, I think that we could agree, and maybe you wouldn't, but I at least think, that at least a prerequisite for any kind of authentic masculinity must require an ability to deny oneself in order that someone else may benefit, someone else may flourish. And in my opinion, pornography flips that on its head. Instead of being able to say, this is my body given up for you, I now say, this is your body taken by me. I forsake her dignity for the sake of tingly feelings in my groin. And I can just say, kind of to elaborate what I said on before, is that as a man, like, I'm sorry, I just feel like I'm called to protect my wife, not to kind of pimp. I feel like I'm called to fight for the dignity of women, for the dignity of my daughter. And so to me, I would say, and I think there's a difference too. I think there's a difference between someone who disagrees with pornography but falls to it occasionally even though they don't want to. Let's actually look at that. Let's look at the difference between two types of men. I'm just speaking from a male point of view. I know women struggle as well, but one man, he knows it's wrong, he doesn't want to look at it, and he does everything in his power in order to stop looking at it. And it seems to me that man is exercising virtues like courage, self-control, self-mastery, patience, love for his future bride, if that's his motivation. And then you look at the other man, and he just gives in, and there's not a problem. And in my mind, you've got one man who's growing in all of these strengths and virtues, and the other guy, all he has to do is give in to his weakness. It's like what Donny said before. I mean, what does it take to look at porn? Not much. You just sort of have to give in. So that would be where I would come from in saying that pornography emasculates. I should say that emasculation means when a man is robbed of his ability to be masculine.
Yeah, I mean, and who's paying for this stuff, and who's driving it, and who is, like Matt was saying, not fighting for their girls, and who's just giving in to animal impulses. I mean, it's like, do you watch porn in groups, or is it usually private? I mean, if it's, there's a reason that most of the time people are watching it, men alone. I mean, it's not definitely something that's empowering. You don't
And I think
Facebook status, I'm currently,
and you may. And I think that's very interesting, right? I think the reason these porn stores cover up their windows and offer back entrances isn't because their clientele are misunderstood revolutionaries plotting the demise of a sexually repressed nation. It's because they know that what they're doing is actually wrong, and they don't want their co-workers, maybe their wives, knowing what they're doing in there. I think that should wake us up. But what's the pregnancy rate among porn stars?
I really didn't see a lot of pregnancies when can't remember any from an actual scene, because the majority of the time, it's kind of graphic. How does most porn end?
Yeah, okay, that's enough. Why did you exactly stop shooting porn?
The reason that I stopped shooting porn is because, God had always been a list of rules and regulations and things that I could not do. So I hated it, and that hatred drove me. When I started finding out that there was actually this God who, I mean, just imagine it. If you're not a parent now, you might be someday. If your child is walking along, learning to walk, they take 3 steps and they fall down. Is there ever a time when you as a parent, or that your parents ever says, you know what, that's the 3rd time you've fallen today, you might as well stay down there on the floor and not get back up, because this walking thing's not for you? Well, no, but that's the kind of God I always thought that there was out there, one that's willing to condemn me to hell forever. And I started saying, you know what, this group is showing me that maybe that's not the case. Maybe he really is this loving God. And so I had to go to him with my guilt, because I felt a lot of guilt. And to this day, I feel a lot of guilt. I had to go to him and say, you know what, the idea that you paid for it for me because you knew I couldn't afford to, I like that. I accept that. And that's why I got out, because I could not take it anymore, and I had a God now who wanted to help me back up when I fell down, and who wanted to pay the price for me because I couldn't, and all I had to do was say, thank you, I'll accept it.
So does that mean that you're more orthodox now?
I don't know what the word orthodox means, to be honest with you.
What do you mean by orthodox? Are you more religious now?
I am. I'm a Christian. I'm not Catholic, as Matt is.
He's
but
still
I am
a good guy, though. You got to admit, he's a good guy. And we have a way to take care of that guilt thing. But anyway, continue. Sorry, man. I'm just teasing. We got a good relationship. It's okay.
Yeah. No, I liked the idea, because in Christianity, I don't know if if you're not a Christian, then you either get to pay the price for your sins yourself, or you can trust that God became flesh, paid for it for you, and you just let him substitute and make the payment for you. It's like your credit card bill comes and you say, you get to pay this for me. I liked that. It allowed me to sleep at night. I says, I am sorry for what I've done. Thank you for paying for it for me, because I sure can't afford it. And that's how I got out. That's how I'm able to sleep now. To attack this in cyberspace. Okay. Right, okay. So the question is why can't we regulate it out of existence? Well, the United States also claims, although this is debatable, that we have freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And God himself gave us free will to do pretty much whatever we wanted. There are consequences. So my personal take is not to regulate it out of existence. My personal take is those of you sitting out there, if you stopped paying for it or participating, the demand goes away and the supply goes down, and pretty soon it's gone. Instead of always saying the problem's over there with those porn guys, we say let's take away their market by not looking at it ourselves. Yeah, I think that's a good point. We should have a way. And there's actually, to be honest with you, I was interviewed by a group that's Mormon, of all things, and they said that what they would like to do is start a safe channel. Kind of like when you subscribe for Dish Network, you can subscribe to adult channels or not. So they want to do that with the internet, where you either choose the safe channel or the wide open channel that has porn. And so, you know, most guys, when they're signing up for the internet and their wife's standing beside them, they go, oh yeah, we would definitely want the safe channel. And you're not going to like make a, you know, you're not going to make a phone call at 12 a.m. and say, you know, why don't you switch that over? It's going to be a so, yeah. I mean, I believe that something like what you're talking about should be done.
I just really want to thank you for your respect in coming out tonight, whatever your opinion was and whatever you thought of the talk. I really appreciate it. And I just want to encourage you as a brother and from the heart that if this is something you've been struggling with and don't want to struggle with anymore, there is help and there is healing and it is possible, and you don't have to live like a porn-infested life. And so I would encourage you, if you want to kind of come and speak to me and Donny, you can get my website there, theporneffect.com, and you can spew your hatred at me through the comment system if you feel the need, or just sort of ask me questions and I'd be happy to write back. On The Porn Effect, we have monthly articles from porn stars, women who struggle with porn, men who've struggled with porn, free videos, free audio, etc. So, you know, thank you so much.